Um, hey, it's Gerard. I wanted to give you a little background on how I got to TrumpetSpeak Media. Basically, my journey started in college. I didn't major in film. In hindsight, I wish I did, but I didn't. Um, and so with that in mind, I realized as I was about to graduate that I wanted to go ahead and do something in the film industry or the media industry. And it was too late to change my major. In fact, I think I was already in my fourth year or my halfway through my third, and I realized it was kind of too late to go back. And so what I needed to do was, or what I first decided to do was get an internship in that industry, so that I could kind of get the ropes, and hopefully that internship would lead to something else. And so I ended up getting an internship at a TV network in the DC area. Had an opportunity to learn, talk to people. As an intern or as a new employee, one thing that I will say is that the people that worked at that particular network were very gracious in speaking with me or speaking to me about their experience, what they've done, and they advised me to some degree. Unfortunately, I didn't get to work in the creative department, but I got the opportunity to be inside the doors, and I was extremely grateful for that. And I actually ended up being in the standards and practices department. In that department, what happens is the organization has a department that looks through advertisements and even through different episodes and TV shows to make sure that everything is above board for the network and maintains the network's vision or standards as it relates to their content on the screen. I understood what people said, what should be on TV, from their standards. What do we want to air? What do we want to approve of from a commercial standpoint? And there are things that I didn't understand before, that claims and commercials follow regulations that a network is supposed to hold their advertisers to. Through that time, after learning that, I ended up getting a job at that network working in the commerce department. And being in the commerce department was interesting. It lended itself for me to understand merchandising and how important it is for that network to say, okay, I can make extra money on the stuff that I have aired by selling it as well. And I see that now that it's even done in the movie industry. Obviously, it's done in the TV industry as well, but mainly in the movie industry. Not only is my goal to sell you a film, if I'm Marvel, but it's also for me to sell you t-shirts. I want to sell you toys. I want to sell you dinner plates and anything else that you will buy, because I'm not only selling this film that you can only buy once or buy twice if you get the DVD. I want to continue to put product in front of you that's associated with this film that you are super excited about. From there, I ended up spending a year at a production company that was also local to the area, and actually did work for the network that I was working for previously. I had an interview, ended up becoming office manager at the time, and the job was sold to me, which I didn't get in writing, which is something else that I should have known better, was, hey, you be an office manager for a year, and after that year's time, we will transfer you, or we will change your role to be able to get into the production side of the house. And so from that perspective, I worked as an office manager and kind of got to see people work in the office on a day-to-day basis on what they were doing. But as an office manager, you're really hands off from what people are doing on a regular basis. You see people bring in props, you help out, but by and large, you don't really get to see the process. You kind of just get to watch the process up closer than most, but still a little from the far. And so when I got the opportunity to be a production assistant, first I was extremely excited to be able to see the process, and I was really on it in terms of being on time, getting everything I needed to get. I was responsible as a production assistant. I think I was doing casting, and I was also responsible for props, and I was responsible for craft services. I was also responsible on set to help the grip with anything that they needed. I was also not an AC, but I was also tasked with helping the DP or the director of photography whenever they needed something, or the assistant camera. Basically, I was the gopher for everyone. Not only that I was responsible for paperwork, that we made sure we got all the paperwork necessary from every actor, such as releases. You needed a picture of ID to go with that release form. And so all that's happening all at one time, which was a lot. I kind of felt like I was being taken advantage of as an employee, because I wasn't getting paid a lot of money, obviously, and I was working crazy hours, and I didn't understand. Hey, look, I'm grinding this hard so that the next job will be more lucrative for me, and the next job will be better than the one that I have now. I didn't understand that. Wish I did, but I learned that along the way. So in that, I learned how to make a film or a movie. I learned how to make an episode that was on TV, like on TV that people respected and watched, and I would talk to people about it, and they'd be like, "Oh, I love that channel," and then I would tell people the show that I would be working on, and say, "Oh yeah, I've seen that show," and so what it taught me was, oh wow, now that I understand their process, I get how this is done. I could probably do this myself. Now, the thing that I understood how to do it from an organizational standpoint. Like, I know now how to cast. I know how to find props. I know how to, get locations. I understand the paperwork that's required for all the two of those things, and what you cannot do as it relates to having props and things on set. Once I got through that experience and I look back on it, I realized that I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be in the industry if that was the only way I could be in the industry. One, it puts your life on hold because you can't do anything. You're completely busy and only working, and all your relationships are with people at work, because you cannot have you can't have a life outside of work. But what it also taught me was, as long as I'm in that industry, I should do it on my own terms, because I learned that I could do it myself. I realized that I didn't need to go to film school. I didn't need to work on sets for 10 years. Maybe being in a union would have been nice for the connections, but I didn't need all those other things, because once I understood the process, I could get my stories out, because I knew how to make my stories become real. And so what happened next was I ended up getting a regular corporate job, which allowed me to make more money, which allowed me to get equipment, and it put me in a more flexible position. Because if I was still working that gig now, there's no way I would have been able to make a feature film and edit it, because I wouldn't have had the mental energy to do so. So, long story short, started at college, realizing that I wanted to do film, did my internship at a TV network. From there, went ahead to a production company in the area, learned the ropes from them, then got a regular day job, which was great, so I could be able to afford my camera and my equipment, and started working on my own stuff under my own company. I don't know what the path is for you, but for me, that's what worked for me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity now to be able to create my own material for an audience. So thanks for sitting down with me, and I hope to catch you in the next video.